a €1 billion squad value, a history of absolute undeniable dominance. Yet, just a few years ago, the German national football team was going through a complete identity crisis. Welcome to this explainer, where today we're diving deep into how they are storming back. They have completely rebuilt themselves into a hyper-modern tactical machine ahead of the 2026 World Cup. Make no mistake, this is a team on a massive redemption mission. And watching them rebuild from the ground up, it's been nothing short of brilliant.
Never write off the Germans. We've all heard it, right? For decades, that phrase literally echoed through stadiums worldwide. And the thing is, Germany's historical identity wasn't necessarily built on flashy, beautiful football. Not at all. It was built on gritty resilience, incredible tactical discipline, and this relentless, terrifying will to win. They were a tournament machine. They just knew how to grind out results, and that collective culture secured them 4 World Cup titles, including the legendary Miracle of Bern in 1954 and the reunification glory in 1990. Along with a record-breaking 13 semi-final appearances, they were quite simply inevitable.
But man, that aura of inevitability, it collapsed spectacularly. In 2014, Germany delivered an absolute masterclass. They dismantled host nation Brazil 7-1 and lifted the trophy. They were on top of the world, but then came the unthinkable. In 2018, as defending champions, they crashed out in the group stage. And the 2022 Qatar edition, another devastating group stage exit. These weren't just surprising losses. They were national humiliations that fundamentally shattered that whole tournament machine identity. The old way of grinding out results was officially dead, and German football had to do some very serious soul-searching.
Enter the catalyst. Appointed in September 2023, Julian Nagelsmann was brought in with one clear goal: tear down the broken system. He arrived as one of the most highly regarded young coaches in world football, having made a massive name for himself at Hoffenheim, RB Leipzig, and Bayern Munich. Nagelsmann is direct, he's sharply analytical, and he is deeply, deeply data-driven. He wasn't hired to just put a band-aid on the old system. He was hired to build a fierce, attacking, high-intensity national team perfectly tailored to a younger, wildly creative generation of players. Now, to really get this new German setup, we have to talk about gegenpressing. It is the beating heart of Nagelsmann's new machine. And look, it's not just regular pressing. It's an immediate, aggressive swarm the absolute second the ball is lost. The golden rule here? They are aiming to win that ball back within exactly 5 seconds of losing it. It creates this suffocating, relentless cycle. Attack, lose the ball, immediately press, win it back in a dangerous area, and attack again. It completely dictates the tempo of the match.
So how does this actually look on the pitch? Well, Germany typically operates in a very fluid 4-2-3-1 formation, and their defensive structure hits you in 3 specific phases. Phase 1 is the high press. The front players actually set traps to force the opposition into a mistake or a panic long ball. Phase 2 is that rapid gegenpressing we just talked about. If the trap fails and they lose the ball, every single player within range swarms instantly. And Phase 3? Well, if the opponent somehow breaks that massive pressure, Germany quickly retreats into a highly structured 4-4-2 mid-block to recover and reset. It's methodical, it's mathematical, and it is incredibly intense.
The really crucial takeaway here is the sheer contrast between the old Germany and the new Germany. That old myth of just surviving and grinding out 1-0 wins, gone. The new Germany is all about fluid overloads, dominating the half spaces, and moving the ball with absolute lightning speed. And it's not just open play either. Their set-piece innovations are giving them a massive strategic edge. Nagelsmann actually brought in a young Danish analyst named Mads Bootgetter, who has totally weaponized Germany's dead ball situations using incredibly sophisticated flat passing lanes and 2-on-2 box routines designed specifically to exploit man-marking systems.
And you know what? The new system is absolutely working. Just look at their recent pre-tournament form. In their last 5 matches, they have a 100% win rate. They've scored 17 goals and conceded only 3. Folks, that's a plus 14 goal differential. They topped their Nations League group with the highest goal tally in the whole competition. This isn't just about winning matches anymore. It's about restoring their swagger and proving to the world that the disasters of 2018 and 2022 are firmly in the rearview mirror.
So, who is actually powering this machine? The entire squad is valued at nearly €1 billion, 998 million to be exact. But here is the truly staggering part. Just 2 players, Florian Wirtz and Jamal Musiala, make up a full 20% of that total value all by themselves. They are the creative, electrifying duo that this entire hyper-modern attacking system is built around. They operate in these incredibly tight central zones, constantly interchanging and just confusing the absolute life out of opposition defenses.
Let's zoom in on this engine room for a second. You have Florian Wirtz, who recently moved to Liverpool for 117.5 million euros, acting as the absolute creative fulcrum. His vision? That's what breaks down those compact defenses. Then there's Joshua Kimmich. Nagelsmann expertly deploys him at right back, rather than midfield, to utilize his immense intelligence and distribution for better build-up play right from the defensive line. Add in Kai Havertz, the high IQ Arsenal forward acting as a super flexible striker up top, and young Alexander Pavlovic, this composed defensive midfielder, providing the exact security needed to let the attacking players just fly forward. It's a beautifully balanced setup.
All right, let's take a breath here and shift our focus, because beneath this incredible system and this immense talent pool, there are severe vulnerabilities, ticking time bombs that could seriously derail everything. Because, as we know, even the most perfectly engineered billion-euro machines have fragile components, and Nagelsmann's squad is carrying some very real, undeniable risks into the 2026 World Cup. These are the vulnerabilities that could unravel the entire project. First up is Manuel Neuer. Yes, he dramatically came out of retirement, but he is attempting to be a starting World Cup goalkeeper at 40 years old. That is virtually unprecedented. And at that elite level, any tiny dip in his reflexes could be fatal. Second, Antonio Rüdiger, their absolutely vital defensive enforcer, is coming off a very concerning injury-hit season. Third, and honestly perhaps most terrifying for fans, is Jamal Musiala's fitness. He's recovering from a horrific broken leg and dislocated ankle sustained at the Club World Cup. If he isn't 100%, Germany loses their biggest wildcard spark. And finally, consistency. We can't just brush past their shocking, head-scratching losses to Slovakia and France recently when they haven't quite been in top gear.
Which brings us to the actual battlefield, Group E. While Germany, currently ranked 8th, is the clear heavyweight, the path is definitely not a walk in the park. They'll open against tournament debutants Curaçao, which honestly should be a comfortable win. But look at the landmine sitting in this group. Ivory Coast is a massive physical threat with rapid transition pace, which is exactly the kind of team that can brutally punish a high-pressing system if a trap fails. And Ecuador, they are a suffocating defensive wall. They conceded only 0.28 goals per game in South American qualifying. That matchup against Ecuador is highly likely going to decide who wins the group.
Now, why does winning Group E matter so much? Because the knockout stage gauntlet is totally unforgiving. Finishing first in the group is virtually non-negotiable for them. If Germany comes in second, it ruins their entire bracket and hands them a significantly tougher path to the final. But here's the catch. Even if they do finish first, they are likely setting up a blockbuster, genuine 50-50 clash against a top-ranked France squad right off the bat in the round of 16. Remember, France beat them in the 2025 Nations League. Talk about an immediate, elite-level trial by fire right out of the gates.
So what does this all mean? Well, Germany's status as a genuine contender is undeniably clear. The 998 million euro squad, the relentless gegenpressing, the tactical brilliance of Julian Nagelsmann, it's all right there on paper. But can this new machine actually survive the ultimate pressure test of a World Cup? Or will physical fragility, an aging goalkeeper, and the lingering ghosts of 2018 and 2022 lead to another devastating heartbreak on the world's biggest stage? It's a fascinating narrative, and it's exactly what makes this redemption mission a total must-watch. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer of Germany's intense road to 2026.